In this video, we're going to quickly break down the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is very important because it can solve any equation that's a quadratic. If we get our equation equal to 0, we can always solve our equation using the quadratic formula. And the formula looks like this: negative b, so b is that number next to x, square root of b squared minus 4ac over a. So a is the number in front of x squared, and c is the number at the end. So I want to solve this example. If you notice from the last side, it's always ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I want to move this stuff to the other side of the equal sign. So I subtract 11x and subtract 4. You always got to get 0 on one side before you do the quadratic formula. And now I just write down my formula. B is negative 11, so I'm going to get negative 11 is positive 11. Plug in b, plug in a, plug in c, plug in a. And then from here, it's just a bunch of simplifying. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is simplifying inside the square root. All right, 11 squared is 121. Negative 4 times 3 times negative 4, those negatives give me a positive, and I add them together. And now I want to focus on the square root. The square root of 169 actually turns out to be a number. It's just 13. And a lot of people will leave their final answer like this, but once you get down to all numbers, you can go a bit farther. This plus or minus is just a shortcut saying there's two answers. If I do the plus answer, it simplifies down to 4. If I do the minus answer, it simplifies down to negative 1/3. So this is the quadratic formula in action. I'll just do one more example. Again, I have to get 0 on one side, so I want to move this thing over. And notice I don't write 4 minus 3x, which we'll do a lot when we move this over, but I want to write it in x squared, x number term, because that's a, b, c. So if I write it in this specific order, I have my a, b, and c in the correct place, and I can plug them into the quadratic formula. And negative 3 squared is always going to be a positive number when I multiply it out. Here, there's only one negative being multiplied, so I still have a minus 32, and I get this expression. And I always want to focus on that square root. I have a negative square root, so I can bring an I out. And the 23 doesn't simplify, so this is actually my final answer. All right, so that's a quick rundown of the quadratic formula. Most important thing, have the formula memorized.